wonderful day and welcome to the program Inside Abuja. My name is Ikaro Atal. The program Inside Abuja is designed to help showcase the success story of the FCT administration and other initiatives they are putting in place to ensure effective management of the nation's capital city. Indeed, as we go through every day, engage in several activities, we may not just be nothing that many persons are busy at keeping Abuja going. And that's why we have this program to tell you what they are doing. On today's episode of the program, we would be looking at the education sector. Indeed, government alone cannot provide education for all the residents of the Federal Capital Territory. And that, no doubt, explains why many in the organized private sector have come in here and are owners of schools and other areas of learning. But in the spirit of effective monitoring and effective collaboration, the Secretary for Education, Senator Isa Maina, and other key stakeholders in the Secretariat met with the owners of private schools, and they all together brainstorm on ways at getting the private school to work effectively in line with the principles of the founding fathers of Abuja. Let's bring to you clips from that all-important meeting that the FCT Secretary for Education and his team held with the owners of private school within and outside the Federal Capital City.
This is to inform the public that the FCT Minister, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency and the National Troop, has inaugurated a committee for the theatre project on herdsmen-farmers' mutual coexistence in the Federal Capital Territory. In view of this, the committee has scheduled advocacy visits to the 6 area councils as follows. 14th March 2018, Abaji Area Council. Venue, Honor of Abaji's Palace. Time, 10 a.m. On the same day, the committee would move to Kwali Area Council. Venue, Etsu Kwali's Palace. Time, 2 p.m. On 21st March 2018, Gwagwalada Area Council. Venue, Aguma of Gwagwalada's Palace. Time, 10 a.m. On the same day, the committee would move to Kuje Area Council. Venue, Gomo of Kuje's Palace. Time, 2 p.m. On 28 March, the Abuja Municipal Area Council and Buhari Area Council's advocacy visits will hold at the Amak Secretariat and Buhari Area Council Secretariat at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. respectively. There will also be a grand finale conference for the entire FCT, which will hold on the 4th of April at the Old Parade Ground at 10 a.m. Announcer, Committee's Secretary. For Chairman and Members, FCT Committee for Community Theatre Project for Prevention of Farmers' Herdsmen Clashes. Peace, peace, this is how we think about.
We have a responsibility to make sure schools maintain certain standards. If they don't meet those standards, we are going to shut down the schools. That's one. Secondly, some people come under different disguises to extort money. That we will not condone, and I've addressed that during our meeting with your ESCO. From our own point of view, the Director of Quality Assurance, Department of Quality Assurance, is the only authorized body to visit school, to regulate you, and close schools if it becomes necessary to do so. The purpose actually of calling this meeting was actually to express our displeasure over certain things that occurred and reoccurred. You are familiar with the bus that caught fire along Kubwa Road that resulted in the death of some pupils. And not too long ago, another one along the airport road. And there was this, 3 kids actually died as a result of that fire. But the national papers, I saw headline, 20 children feared dead. So this is not the kind of headlines we actually want. And what came to our mind is perhaps we need to sit with you and talk about this basic standard, because every child that sends his child to school, what he expects from you as a teacher is to provide safety for the children, for the child that you sent to school. If a parent, I'm sure we're all parents here, we can put ourselves in their shoes, how we would feel sending our children to school only to receive a phone call that our child is dead because of fire from a school bus that perhaps needed some maintenance and wasn't properly maintained. So that is the main reason that I said we should come and talk about this, how much displeasure it has caused us, and the issue of, let me go back to the issue of closure of school. I was made to understand in 2016, 556 schools were closed. When I tried to probe further, I understand that a lot of these schools are not members of your association. That's National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools. And I don't see any reason why school should not be under one umbrella organization that we could hold responsible or accountable, because NAPS may help us in doing our work. So that was where the issue of reviewing the guidelines for establishment of private schools came, and we want to insist in the new guideline that all schools must be under one umbrella, so that our work would be easier working with one body than multiple bodies. And if you permit me now to go through the prayers, as she said, stakeholders forum should be established and supported. I don't know what that means, but I believe that this is such a forum that from time to time, if need be, we can call on you and share some of the ideas and get some ideas from you. Or you can send your executives to come and meet us if there are issues that you need should be addressed from our own side. We are always open to that. Review and establish the legality and justification of charges. I think I've addressed that. We want to sit in-house with relevant agencies and come up with harmonized taxes that is known to any prospective school proprietor. Before you open school, we'll give you guidelines of charges to be paid, and those of you who already have schools will communicate with that through your ESCO so that it is known to everybody. I wish I can be a proprietor of a school too, so I can understand that. Now, liaise with other government agencies on the laws binding closure of school. Like I said, this is a very sensitive issue. The development control can come and see your school does not meet certain requirements of land building in Abuja and decide to shut you down. That's outside my purview. To fast track the perfection of title deeds, again, like I said, it is not our responsibility. That's purely business. You can get a lawyer to pursue your title deeds from, I think my legal advisor used to be in charge of deeds. So I don't know whether she can speak to you about title deeds. She used to be in charge of deeds at land. But as far as I know, it's private. We don't have responsibility to pursue title deeds for you, but she can offer you some assistance. Maybe your lawyer can do that. To enforce and correct implementation of universal education policy with the aim of establishing and ensuring uniform activities across the board. This sounds vague because I really don't understand what maybe the Director of Basic Education can speak on that after, or I will allow the President, your President, to shed more light on what exactly she means by that. Making Directorate of Quality Assurance formidable by ensuring adequate funding, manpower. Yes, personally, I have issue with the Directorate of Quality Assurance. I keep attacking them that they are not doing their jobs. That's why a bus would catch fire and burn our kids, not once, not twice. So we will review, like it's been requested, the Directorate of Quality Assurance and provide them the tools to work. I don't believe you should give someone responsibility when you don't give him the tools to work. So in-house, we shall see how we assist the DAQ to be able to do that work properly. Then the last one, all schools going for accreditation must be NAPS members as a professional body. I agree with you. I have said that in the new guidelines. That's what we are going to do.
This is to inform the public that the FCT Minister, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency and the National Troop, has inaugurated a committee for the theatre project on herdsmen-farmers' mutual coexistence in the Federal Capital Territory. In view of this, the committee has scheduled advocacy visits to the 6 area councils as follows. 14th March 2018, Abuja Area Council. Venue, Honor of Abuja's Palace. Time, 10 a.m. On the same day, the committee would move to Kwali Area Council. Venue, Etsu Kwali's Palace. Time, 2 p.m. On 21st March 2018, Gwagwalada Area Council. Venue, Aguma of Gwagwalada's Palace. Time, 10 a.m. On the same day, the committee would move to Kuje Area Council. Venue, Gomo of Kuje's Palace. Time, 2 p.m. On 28 March, the Abuja Municipal Area Council and Buhari Area Council's advocacy visits will hold at the AMAC Secretariat and Buhari Area Council Secretariat at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. respectively. There will also be a grand finale conference for the entire FCT, which will hold on the 4th of April at the Old Parade Ground at 10 a.m. Announcer, Committee's Secretary. For Chairman and Members, FCT Committee for Community Theatre Project for Prevention of Farmers' Herdsmen Clashes. Peace, peace, this is how we think about.
We intend to officially notify you through a courtesy call to NSCDO Nigeria in March, and also intimate our colleagues of the immense benefits of this sector, which we actually did while we were waiting for you. During our last meeting, we rolled out an archive of issues of concerns of the operations of private schools in FCT and its environs, which include multiple taxations. We are particularly concerned about unresolved issues, especially relating to Federal Capital Territory and area council revenues, which continually interfere with our business activities. We have sued for harmonization of all taxations and fees through FCT, FRS, National Assembly, Joint Tax Board, area councils, media, and other relevant organizations without solutions. Rather, we always have rude officers, fraudulent miscreants, and compromising officers going around our schools, and in most scenarios, we are threatened with closures of schools. And in few cases, some of our schools are actually closed down. This is very unfair and unacceptable as Nigerians contributing our quota and reducing unemployment, which is the bane of conflict, poverty, youth destruction, underdevelopment, and growth. We would like to know the organizations that have rights to close our schools with legal backings. We are tired of everyone coming to our school, we are closing down your schools. While we continue to hope for a swift action from your office, we hereby once again reiterate that these pressing issues of concerns that continually burdens us and our business will be looked into as promised during our meeting with you in your office. School lands and permanent sites. It is unfortunate that we are yet to make a headway on the issue of land allocation, which began over 15 years ago. And we know that it is an insurmountable task, even for you as the Secretary for Education, as you come in. Most schools have eventually secured expensive loans from commercial banks to acquire school plots, which translate to high running costs, tuition fees, and others. And that makes us being looked at as Shylocks. More disheartening is that the schools in the area councils are yet to have perfect title deeds of legal mortgages due to unclear bureaucracy issues from ages. Letters for schools on rented property to move to their permanent site should be viewed with utmost leniency, and clear statements and guidelines should be released. The location of schools in some states and even foreign countries permits condition of stay. Be that as it may, we in FCT do have schools environment comparatively. And we know that you have promised at our meeting with you that you are going to look into this without immediately during the review of guidelines guiding private schools. Lack of infrastructure in our schools, the school permanent site, the ones that are actually available. No roads, no water, no light, and so on and so forth. We pray that taxpayers' money should be used for development for these areas. Defective quality assurance standard. Directorate of Quality Assurance. Admissions, we've said that before you came because we took some questions and answer sessions, and some of our members have actually mentioned all this. Admission system in school is not compliant with the established UBE standard. Almost all schools run a personalized 8 or 7 year basic education instead of 9 basic education structure. This is because most students do not complete middle basic education class. Some leave from primary 4 and 5, and they skip primary 6 to JS1. Primary 6 classes have disappeared from our schools, and Nigeria is probably the only nation in the world not complying with the universal basic education structure. We can say that we have imported acts of impunity into the education sector. Unfortunately now, students are writing WAEC and NECO exams in SS2 for admissions into universities. I am sure that you mentioned that this is beyond your purview, but you rightly said you are going to table this at the NEC meeting. We hope this will be done. Their fees range between 1,500 per term in some of these private schools. Yet, parents are not paying. Some of them have low student enrollment. Somebody has even compared here Maitama, Aziz, and so on and so forth. We know catchment areas are quite different, and we cannot all be in the same area. Schools struggle to employ and retain qualified teachers, and that is why we want to thank Kwali ZDO this afternoon, because she had actually written on behalf of Kwali. Most of the ZDO want to thank all of them because they've worked hand in hand with our members, and she had actually brought this, and a letter had been written to DQA on this, and we are pleading that the review should actually take considerations of schools as we mentioned here. Categorization should be done accordingly. The emergency call of our executive to your office and DQA when issues of concern bordering around NAPS, around practices of private schools in FCT arise, indicate that government has so much confidence in NAPS FCT and have chosen to identify with us as the umbrella body for private schools. We want to say thank you very much. I want to thank DQA because we are actually one of the states that enjoy good working relationship with government, because we know when we go for other meetings, state meetings of NAPS, we hear different stories. But we must commend the two parties for working hand in hand for the progress of education in FCT. By 2017, NAPS FCT have successfully collated the data of its 1,695 members from world level. This is the list. We'll be giving it to the director of DQA this afternoon. 169. Others will be coming up. Please, area council chairperson, we please plead with you. Those that have joined of recent, kindly submit it quickly to the administration officer so that we can include them in our details here. So therefore, it is true that your office has been rendered helpless in your drive to ensure the process of effective administration of FCT laws and policies through DQA and NAPS FCT have also been rendered helpless in our activities focused on enhancing professionalism and standardization of practices in our schools. Why? Because still we have so many schools and more emerging daily who are far not our members and are not registered even with DQA. Our prayers, a stakeholder forum should be established and supported. 2, review all issues stated above aimed at strengthening and supporting our public-private partnership. Review and establish the legality and justification of charges, levies from various establishments. Eliminate multiple charges and take the terms of all stakeholders into consideration on an harmonized and structured means of agreed payment for private schools within FCT. Liaise with other government agencies on laws binding school closures. Declaration of legislated authorities to school closures. Transfer of students from school to school through our unified transfer certificate. All private school pupils seeking admission into public schools should be made to compulsorily present a copy of the unified transfer certificate. Realistic downward review of annual dues in some schools in rural areas and suburbs of FCT. Fast-tracking the perfection of title deeds land in area council outside AMAC within FCT. To enforce and correct implementation of the basic universal basic education policy with the aim of stabilizing and ensuring uniform activities across board.
This is to inform the public that the FCT Minister, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency and the National Troop, has inaugurated a committee for the theatre project on herdsmen-farmers' mutual coexistence in the Federal Capital Territory. In view of this, the committee has scheduled advocacy visits to the 6 area councils as follows. 14th March 2018, Abuja Area Council. Venue, Honor of Abuja's Palace. Time, 10 a.m. On the same day, the committee would move to Kwali Area Council. Venue, Etsu Kwali's Palace. Time, 2 p.m. On 21st March 2018, Gwagwalada Area Council. Venue, Aguma of Gwagwalada's Palace. Time, 10 a.m. On the same day, the committee would move to Kuje Area Council. Venue, Gomo of Kuje's Palace. Time, 2 p.m. On 28 March, the Abuja Municipal Area Council and Buhari Area Council's advocacy visits will hold at the AMAC Secretariat and Buhari Area Council Secretariat at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. respectively. There will also be a grand finale conference for the entire FCT, which will hold on the 4th of April at the Old Parade Ground at 10 a.m. Announcer, Committee's Secretary. For Chairman and Members, FCT Committee for Community Theatre Project for Prevention of Farmers' Herdsmen Clashes.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, which is centered on the interface between the FCT administration and owners of private schools around the city. Until we come your way, same time, same station next week, please let's be good citizens of the FCT and let's keep our environment clean. Goodbye.